On behalf of the Olympic Resistance Network and the 2010 Welcoming Committee, I welcome you to Vancouver on February the 12th, Friday, concurrent with the opening ceremonies. We will have a people's ceremony at the Vancouver Art Gallery starting at 3 p.m.
Many people that are involved in the Olympic Resistance Network do not actually claim to be against amateur sports. We're against the industry. But if we really look at what's happening with the Olympic Games, and we see the fact that physical education programs in our high schools are being cut back because of the amount of money that's being spent on these games, we ask the Olympics, are they really about amateur sports? Are they really supporting the grassroots sports that are happening in our communities, in our schools, in our physical education programs, when teachers and schools are having to cut back these programs? In addition to that, are we really about amateur sports and about health when we know people can't even get proper housing in this community? When we know food banks are being shut down on the downtown east side, that people in this neighborhood depend on for the very minimal levels of health that they're trying to maintain for themselves.
I'd just like to welcome everybody to the downtown east side. This is the ground zero for the social economic impacts of the 2010 Winter Olympics. And if you have time, you should walk around the area here just so you can see the levels of devastation and desperation that the government and the corporations have imposed on the people down here. And that's one legacy that we want to leave from the Olympics, is a legacy of resistance, indigenous resistance and social resistance to the tyranny of regimes that the IOC and VANOC and the government and the corporations impose on communities.
So on February 15th, we'll be having a rally here. The focus of the rally is threefold. We want to call attention and demand the end of homelessness. Secondly, we want to say stop the gentrification in this area, which is causing tremendous displacement of people. And thirdly, we want to say stop the criminalization of poor people through ticketing and other procedures of arrest and incrimination. With the Assistance to Shelter Act, and the implementation of short-term shelters, there's this effort to clean the streets of the visibility of homelessness. And what a tent city does is it brings all that into the open and says, no, you can't just hide this. This is a real issue that has to be faced. This is an issue that has been exacerbated by the Olympics. And so there's going to be a strong and coordinated response of making these things visible.
I'm a long-time resident from the downtown east side of Vancouver, and the reason why we're setting up tents is to let our voices out here to know that the homeless is drastic. We're going to put out these tents so that people will know that we're out here. We're out here to let them know that we have a voice, and we're going to make them hear and let us know that we can have homes for our people. We're human beings, for God's sake. Where's your heart?
I believe there could have been better ways spent instead of having the Olympics here. I mean, we could have had shelters, we could have had homes for the homeless. I mean, I see this every day. I live just around the corner here, and I've had to give out blankets and warm clothes for people that are homeless. It's just unheard of. I think the government has to do something more with our homeless and our poverty and our issues that we have down here with First Nations people and youth.
I want to add one thing, and that's this. Next Friday, there will be a demonstration in this town that's probably never been seen before in an Olympic city. And although Bud Mercer expects violent criminals to descend on the city, he will actually be surprised because many of the people who are going to be coming are going to be people who've never been to protest before. I get calls every day from ordinary people who probably never held a protest sign in their lives. I had one the other day from a soccer mom whose son, who's 13, has been investigating the Olympics and decided he didn't like them and wanted to come down and protest. And she called me up to say, would it be safe to come downtown and protest? I said, yes, it would. There are many reasons to be against the games, and you're going to see a diversity of citizenry and the residents of the city out there next Friday to actually express their opposition to the games and to bear witness to the fact that there is an opposition and that we are not going to let this pass in silence. Thank you.